to head coach Rick Barnes' press conference. We'll get started with questions. Just use the raise hand function in Zoom and we'll get going. Go with Mike Wilson first.
Yeah, Rick, I know you said after the game the other day that John's probable. Do you have an update on that? And then with Des coming back, I mean, how neat is that to get such an early season game against a guy who was on your staff for so long?
Well, I did talk with John earlier today, and he did tell me that he's planning on practicing tomorrow, starting. How much he can do and get done, we won't know. It will be day by day, obviously. But, I'm excited for Dez. And from the time I got to know him, his goal was to be a Division I head basketball coach, and he had the opportunity to interview for a number of different positions and ended up with just a terrific job here in East Tennessee. And I think he would tell you that he's really excited about his team. They have players coming back that have had great success. And so looking at him, there's certainly some things that he will do that we do here. But he's also added some of the things that he likes himself. But from a personal standpoint, I'm just really excited for Des and his family that he's finally gotten the opportunity he had worked long and hard for a long time.
We'll go Ryan Shumpert next, then Grant Ramey.
When you had the chance to go back and watch the tape, just what were some things that you liked and then didn't like about that last 5 minutes when you had your four freshmen in the game?
Well, what I really liked is I do think there's no doubt our guys wanted to play hard, and I think that they were jumpy early in the game. I thought we were taking ourselves way out of position defensively and just giving up straight line drives to the basket and being too concerned with our own men as far as not helping. We had the floor wide open so many times. And is that expected a little bit? It is because of the fact that, guys, again, wanting to do well, wanting to be aggressive. And but overall, the shots we took 43s. I would tell you those 40, and we've talked to the players about it, 5, 6, 7 were not what we're looking for from behind the arc. And I think the biggest takeaway is that we know that we've got to get better in every facet of the game. And we need everybody to have the mindset that they've got to improve daily.
Rick, you guys had 23 offensive rebounds the other night. Is that a product of shooting so many threes, or do you think this is a good offensive rebounding team, or is it some kind of combination?
Well, Grant, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that when you shoot threes, there's, long shots, long rebounds. But also, if we're going to shoot it, we've got to be willing to run it down some because, as you know, there's nights when, you get some great looks like the other night. We had some looks that we would like to think. I mean, Josiah didn't have a great shooting night, but VJ and both of those guys are more than capable. But there's nights when, players would tell you that feels like it's going in, but it doesn't. So with that said, if you're going to shoot them, and again, we've talked a lot about how important rebounding is on both ends with this group. And you don't want to be a one and done team on offense, but on the other end, on the defensive end, you really do want to try to limit people to one shot as much as you can. But I think as time goes on, when people probably will work harder at defending the 3-point line because it's obvious that we've got guys that can shoot it, and we're going to allow them to shoot it when it's in the framework of what we've talked about. And so people will game plan more for that as time goes and moves forward. Then can we adjust to continue to shot fade, maybe get a shot for yourself or sidestep or put it on the floor and create some get them in rotation where we can even get a better look. And with those 6 shots or so that we shouldn't have taken, that's what should have happened. But with the rebounding part of it, I like to think it's a combination of both of them.
Karthik and then Rob Lewis.
Hey, Coach. Huntley Hartfield seemed to give you some really good minutes off the bench there for your team. He also had a couple blocks. I know you were talking about rim protector the other day. Do you envision him being a guy that could develop into that rim protector for you all?
We hope so. We hope, all these guys, we've all got to improve. We've got to improve. If we're not going to consistently have a rim protector, we've got to get in position on the help side to get our body between drivers and the rim, whether it's taking a charge or playing with verticality. We've got to get over there. That's really important. But do we think, I think anybody that has his hands and he really does have really good anticipation skills. He can be a guy that could block some shots, and he can do it with in a different way. But a lot's being thrown at him, and he's improved certainly from day one. But right now, the whole key to not just him, but I would say any of the younger guys and some of the older guys, to be quite frank, is reliability, what we can count on and understand they're going to do every time they're out there.
Coach, just where are you looking for the most improvement from game 1 to game 2? I would guess defense, but
Yeah, we got to be better defensively, and there's no doubt about that. And I think that we've got to, when you talk about guarding the ball, that's where it starts. We did not do a good job there the other night. But again, with that said, our help defense, we're normally pretty good in that area. We weren't very good the other night, but I also know watching the tape, it wasn't because of a lack of effort. It was a lack of just being overly anxious. And even when we got driven by on the perimeter, a number of times we just took ourselves out of position, swiping at the ball as if we wanted to, make something happen real quickly. And as opposed to being in a mindset that you got to grind it out, know you got help from your teammates. And so that area has got to be cleaned up, obviously. And then from there, offensively, continue to, I can tell you, Rob, we spacing wasn't still what we need it to be. We still have some guys that don't understand the real subtleties and of when the ball's at a certain area on the floor, how they need to rise up from the corners or move wherever it might be. And but again, I like to think some of that came from first game, but going forward, you'd like to think that we'll be able to carry over more and more what we do in practice.
Ben McKee, then Grant Ramey.
Rick, I know Tuesday night wasn't your first game of the year. You had the close scrimmage and the exhibition, but what'd you think of Zakai and Kennedy in terms of running the offense, and then what's the next step for them in that department?
Well, I think they both. I tried to explain it to him this way. It's like a quarterback in football. When he's up there, he knows who his primary receiver is. And when he steps back there, he's looking down the field, and he's got to see who's defending that guy. But he also has to have an eye on what that safety might be doing. And instead of trying to ram it in there, which I think they're still trying to do too much, they're going to have to look to check down. And it's there in the offense. It's there for them to do it. But right now, they're still trying to squeeze that thing into a tight box when it's one thing if it's one-on-one. It's another thing when it's a guy lurking right there. Even if the guy should get it, he's not going to have much to do with it. But they're both young, and they pretty much have most of them can do it both of them have done a pretty good job getting the ball where we want them to get it. But now they're going to have to learn how to, as they get themselves deep into the jungle with all those arms hanging around there, they're going to have to figure out how to get out of it. And right now they're not they're throwing up some shots that are making some plays that they can't make. But overall, the tempo that we want them to push, they are pushing that. But now it's going to get down to continue to make better decisions.
Rick, have you seen enough from John through the summer and I guess the spring to think that he's going to be back to kind of what he was a couple of years ago, opposed to what we saw at times last?
He was doing that. He and Santi had really got where they really played really well together, especially in an open side of the court. And now how long it takes him to get back to where he was before he left, I don't know. But to answer your question, point blank, yes, we saw him back to where he was a John Fulkerson before last year, and the one that he was starting to play into at the end of last year. But now again, it will be how quickly he can get back to it.
The last question, Ryan Shumpert.
You guys ran the lineup with Zakai and Kennedy on the court at the same time there at the end of the first half. Is it feasible to play those guys together for a lot of minutes at a time?
Not right now. It's not. It's not because of both of them are learning how to play off the ball defense. Going back to what I was really alluding to early when we started talking here today was our off ball defense has got to get better, and especially has got to get better from the younger guys. That's really important that they do that. But right now, I don't see them being able to do that at a long period of time until they understand how important off ball defense is.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll have VJ Bailey here in a second.